Good afternoon and welcome to the December 7th, 2023 Police and Public Safety Committee meeting. We're going to begin by taking attendance. Councilmember Brennan's here, Supervisor Puccioni's here. I am here, Deputy Chief Joe Twitty's here, Town Clerk Michelle Martinelli's here. District 1 Chief Lingenfelter is here, Comptroller Greenwood is here, Seth Goldstein's here, Gene Bodie's here. What did I miss? Anybody? Okay. The first order of business will be I need a motion to accept the November minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, then those minutes pass. Operationally, we're still working on the towing bid for 2024. Town Attorney Finn and myself are going to really work on this moving forward. Due to the holiday season, that kind of got put to the side, but the plan is to do this as soon as she comes back, and we're gonna hopefully get something out for a request for a proposal out to the businesses, local businesses, to establish a towing bid schedule for 2024. Under operations, also, we on November 8th, we did a Mohawk Commons commercial retail theft detail. I just want to touch on it real quick. It was our agency, our detectives, members of our patrol division, and also the Schenectady Street Crimes Task Force. It was what I consider a huge success. As we all know, sort of in the national news and locally as well, there's a lot of retail theft that's going on. We conducted this detail over the course of 8 hours on the 8th of November, and it resulted in 4 arrests and 2 other potential arrests coming down the road through investigations. But we had the collaboration and cooperation of all the big box stores over at Mohawk Commons. They were thrilled that we put this together and work in collaboration with them. And I just want to recognize especially Detective Sergeant John Connor for his great work on putting this together and collaborating and organizing and working through the pace of this. This is the first time I believe that we've ever done something like this, and we're already looking to do it again here near in the future. So great job by everybody that was involved. Fleet and equipment, currently 605 is still being outfitted. That's ongoing. We recently received the 611 vehicle, which is the administrative vehicle, and that's currently being outfitted as well. We're purchasing a set of new uniforms and pat-down protective gloves for all the members of our police department. We were able to pull together some money from different lines for the protective gloves, which we had actually budgeted for 2024. And this was also a recommendation coming out of our workers' comp that Beth and I spoke about. We want to make sure our members are protected, and we need to make sure they have the proper gloves and PPE as they're out there doing good work. Building, ongoing, just still the fencing and wall around the rear. Training, our department is completing a training unit on anti-bias training for law enforcement through Police One Academy. That's still ongoing. Recruit O'Brien will be starting in-service training December 8th at our department. That's really exciting. That means that we're coming to the end of our academy time. Graduation will probably be sometime in January, end of January, beginning of February timeframe. We are currently planning active shooter rescue task force training in conjunction with District 1, hopefully at our high school. And we're looking at an April timeframe during spring break. We're kind of still working through the paces on that to make sure that we have enough folks to conduct this training. And we're opening up to the school district. Chief Lingenfelter and I sit in on the district-wide school safety meetings. And we talked about how important it was for not only us to do this, but also for those folks to participate in it with us as well. And we're hoping to get some participation from their administrators and school staff as a part of this. So more will come once we kind of finalize those. Did you want to add anything to that? No, that's covered. Citizen correspondence, we didn't have anything ongoing. We did recently, as of yesterday, receive an email actually through the highway department. John Milk requested that our committee evaluate the current stop sign, Windsor Drive at Briar Ridge. So there's a stop sign there. And as we recall, Windsor historically was supposed to continue down. There was sort of like a paper street there to what is now the Kelts Farm development, if you will. And there is a stop sign coming off of Briar Ridge into Windsor. There's not necessarily a need for it. I think we need to look into it a little bit deeper from a liability perspective, but I was speaking with Detective Munger today about it, who is our in-house expert on all things stop signs. And he went over and really looked at it, and the way they revamped that little section of the road that doesn't go to anywhere, he believes it's not necessarily necessary for us to have that stop sign there. We don't traditionally take stop signs down. This is the first time I've heard of that, so I think we just need to kind of look at it, evaluate it, discuss a little bit further. I'm going to talk to Laura Robertson as well to get her opinion on it. So, town events, Coffee with a Cop, third Tuesday monthly at the Senior Center with myself. It's a great time for anybody that wants to join. We have an upcoming event at Target again at their Starbucks on December 5th. Oh, when is that? I already passed it. We have one on December 5th from 12 to 2. And that is tentative. The holiday parade is coming up in conjunction with District 1. Is December 16th. This year it's a little bit different. It's going to be starting at Town Hall, 9 a.m. with Santa and with hot chocolate. Jess, you want to speak about that a little bit more?
Sure. From 9 to 10, we will have Santa here for free pictures, and we will have Girl Scouts helping serve hot chocolate. And then Santa will begin the parade from 10 to about 12. They'll go around the parade route collecting gifts. Oh, at that time too, 9 to 10, people in the community who would like to can drop off a gift for our adoptive family program through the school district. And we're particularly looking for gifts for the middle school and high school population because they're the hardest to collect for and they're a little bit tricky to buy for. So we're looking for creative minds to think of some good gifts to support those families. And then along the parade route, we'll be collecting gifts as well as people, cheer for Santa and for our police department, our fire department, and it should be fun. It's been really fun the last couple of years. The parade will end at the co-op. There'll be a tent there. There'll be the Salvation Army brass band playing, and we will have volunteers from Niskuna girls softball helping serve cocoa there as well. As another drop-off point for gifts too, if people would like to do that. So the parade can't go through the whole town, unfortunately, because it's just logistically impossible. So we're trying to create as many opportunities for people to participate and be part of the fun.
It's an amazing event. We've been a part of it. It's been 2 years we've done it now. Or is it three? I think it is the third.
Started during COVID.
Yep. And it's just awesome. I gotta recognize my guy Denny Placas for all his hard work putting this
He's the
together.
one that spearheads it.
Denny does a phenomenal job at this. He and I talk on the phone. We talk on the phone anyways regularly, but when this comes up, we speak a little bit more often. And he, Jess, and I are in a group text back and forth trying to finalize details. But it's going to be an awesome event for the parade route for folks that are watching this. It's on the town website. It's on the Niskuna Police Department Facebook page. It's on District 1's Facebook page. If you need to, call us and we can direct you or print it out for you. But please, please, please come out and celebrate and participate with us because it's a great time for everybody. So. Town clerk is up next. I put this on. Michelle, do you want to speak about the dog permits for non-residents?
Sure. We currently have a dog permit for non-residents of Niskuna, but residents of Schenectady County to use the dog park. That was put on quite a few years ago just by adding it to our fee schedule. We've had maybe about 3 people sign up for that. And this year we had a hard time with somebody. We know that it's a Schenectady dog. We know that their distemper has gone. It's not valid anymore. And we don't really know if he's using the dog park or not. You don't have somebody to really police the dog like we used to. So I don't know. I'd like to consider not having that available to people. I think it's harder for us to reach out to a non-resident than a resident, unless we're going to have a dog warden.
Getting appointed this month.
Okay. I don't know if it's necessary. And I just wanted the conversation to come up, see what everybody thought. Sometimes there's one Schenectady County resident, sometimes there's 2. The most we've ever had was 3.
Yeah, so we're gonna be, and that's later on in the agenda, but we have a candidate to take over the animal control duties, who again we'll speak about later. So that's on for appointment this month. And I don't know if that's gonna help track those things down a little bit better for you. Again, that's a very part-time position, right? So even when we have someone here all the time, it's not an everyday thing to be able to facilitate all of the tracking of all of the licensing. It's kind of a throughout the year concept.
Well, at least we could, like, give him a list of people that he has to track down when he is working.
So I guess,
To say, look, we need this proof,
sure.
this temper, or, the dog's not licensed in Schenectady anymore, or even Niskuna. There's some issues that might come up at the dog park, and they'll come to us and ask, is the dog like, oh, the dog's licensed, they never renewed it, and we don't know if its temper is good or not.
Is there,
Or rabies for that matter.
is there a way to not issue permits prior to receiving the information? So if the concern is whether or not they have the up-to-date shots and distemper and those things, is there a way to set parameters where they can't get the permit unless they provide the current documentation for the time frame that the permit is good for?
So I guess they could. This was like out maybe a few months. And we said to them, look, you have to come back to us with this documentation. And he never came back. We called him multiple times and he just ignored us.
Because you need it to register originally. You're saying
Correct,
it's
yeah.
expired.
Yes,
Not gonna happen to anyone.
it could, yes.
And there's no one checking if the dogs are registered in the first place. Like,
And no, there's no.
Currently,
And a lot, since it is part-time, who knows who's using the park? And that puts us as a town liable if somebody goes in there doesn't have a permit. The dog isn't licensed, doesn't have rabies, doesn't have distemper, and, bites somebody or whatever. So I just think it's a concern.
all right. Does anybody else have an opinion?
sounds like it might be a bigger discussion to look at, like, should we just do spot checks at the dog park, make sure all the dogs there are like,
Well, you
supposed to be there, you know what I mean? Like maybe think how to utilize this position and like what the best
So they
use
will,
of time would be.
this is what this person will do. The problem was that we had COVID. And then we had, our animal control officer was Dave Stern. Dave couldn't give us the hours we needed. Then we had Jimmy Walsh for a little bit. It wasn't an agreeable job for Jimmy. And then we were kind of actively seeking on the side someone else. And we do currently have somebody, that has experience, I'll say now, his name's Bruce Hirschenroder. He's a, special deputy. He's on the auxiliary PD for Schenectady County. He's got experience with SPCA through Schenectady County. He lives in town. He lives on Pierce Road. He's familiar with the town. We're finalizing his background. We're putting him on for appointment this month. So maybe it's something that we at least get Bruce here, get him trained up, start working through the process, and then reevaluate that concept to see what we can and can't be able to do within the confines of what that position looks like. Like I said, this is a very, very part-time position. It has been for a long time. And so I don't know that even if we had someone here the entire time, it would resolve all of the issues that we're talking about because of how part-time it is.
We did have somebody here that was really good, and he came to us all the time, and he'd check people at the dog park, and we'd say, go to their house and give them a ticket if they weren't, he was good. So hopefully we can get that into that same routine.
Sure.
And have the same type of relationship with him.
Yeah, we can definitely work towards that. I can tell you right now that the animal control situation in almost every jurisdiction right now is a very difficult thing because there's not space at shelters. There's an overpopulation of animals post-COVID, and there's a lack of animal control officers that want to find a job. And it's not just us that's facing it. It's many municipalities. And I was hoping to have a broader conversation about maybe consolidated service countywide regarding this with other law enforcement agencies, and we've kind of touched on it. The animal control portion of ag and markets laws and everything else, it's not something everybody likes to talk about and deal with necessarily because it's a lot of work. It's not a ton of pay, and it takes special people that really want to do it, right? So
So just to clarify that the individual in question has a license or had a license, but now it's expired because they haven't submitted the necessary paperwork for
They
distemper.
this time. I haven't checked recently if I don't think the license from Schenectady is.
What do you mean when you say that? A
Well,
license
the
from
dog
Schenectady?
has to be licensed in the jurisdiction of where they live.
Mhm.
So if you live in Niskuna, you have to have a dog license from Niskuna. If you live in Schenectady, it has to be in Schenectady that you go and live your dog, or Rotterdam, or Scotia, or whatever municipality you live in. That is a state law.
Michelle, doesn't the dog license only require rabies, not distemper? Is that like just
Correct.
that's just a park
Correct.
requirement?
But our park, requires distemper.
And have you spoken to the town attorney about liability issues? What are they? You mentioned being
That-
concerned.
Yeah,
What does
we
that
haven't
mean?
gotten, I was gonna discuss all this first and then.
well, we don't even.
Because
know-
I would like to know too.
Well, I was gonna
What does that
say,
mean?
but we don't even know this individuals.
We don't know,
Right.
We
yeah,
do-
we don't know,
we're-
because he won't talk to us, he won't.
We don't even know that they come to the town anymore. We have no idea.
Exactly.
Every year, for them, it's $100.
So it could be the individual is receiving the calls from your office and just, I don't use the dog park anymore. I'm not calling you back.
Yeah, could be.
But it could also, right, or it could be
That's
That-
nice.
they're still using the dog park, but now not doing it with the,
Proper documentation.
Do we have town residents that have similar issues?
excuse me?
Do we have town residents that have similar issues? Like to this, that we're describing?
A lot of town residents that just go there. And don't even get the dog park
Like,
permit license.
or is it called a license or
Permit.
permit?
And how do we know that?
Well, from past experience with the dog,
Warden.
But we don't know currently, that's what I'm asking.
oh, currently I have no idea, because there's nobody checking.
Well,
It's a free-for-all.
It's a free for all.
It's not very well, because I've been to the dog park and I know that everybody knows each other and they all report each other if they don't know each other. So I wouldn't say it's a free for all. I go to the dog park, my dog goes to the dog park, so I wouldn't say it's a free for all.
It's like the HOA.
But that's why I'm asking. Guess what I'm asking is, are you getting current phone calls to say there are people that are coming here? Oh, I guess that's what I was asking. Okay. Well, we'll address it. And like I said, when we get Bruce onboarded here, we'll get it up to speed and we'll get it all cleaned up because that's definitely the goal. And then we'll continue that conversation now about whether or not to continue with that permit process. I think that's good. I think it's a value to talk about that on a number of levels. So.
Other thing that we came up with, the APF. This is the second time that a dog has been brought to them. And it was an Niskuna dog. And they couldn't pay the fees to get the dog back, which meant the $65 a day for shelter fees, $70 for our fee, and to license the dog. It was over $300. So that dog waited out the hold, 5-day hold. They adopted the dog back to the same family for less money. So $175. They're circumventing the fee. And we don't even know who the family was. We know it was a Niskuna family. She called very upset. They just moved into the area. And she told us that she couldn't pay the fees. And when I got the form back from APF, they was adopted out, and I called them and they said, oh, the family who owned the dog adopted it back out.
So who absorbs those fees? The town?
That's what we're working on. They never called me back on that. I told them that we're not gonna pay their shelter for them to do that. That's not right. I don't think that's right.
And 100% is not right.
No. So now we're out the $70. And unless I can get the name from APF, I don't know if they can give that to me. And that dog should be licensed in this. So they shouldn't,
I'm trying to think of what the contracts. I don't know if anything in the contract specifically covers that. And maybe that's
Really?
something. Yeah, maybe that's something that we can address together. Because okay. Yeah. That would have to be something contractual, or we'd have to put something in there that says that APF basically cannot, under any circumstances, allow a family, the owner of the dog or relatives to adopt the dog back at their cost versus circumnavigating. Because in APS mind, they're hoping that, and I get it, they don't want the dog to be put down,
right,
right?
right.
Which is the goal, to get it back with the family, because maybe the family's in financial hardship. Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to,
I know this
That's
family
happened
said they
twice,
were,
right?
but the other family,
when the other one was years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's not frequent, but it's
well,
happened twice.
it's happened, I think, a couple times. A few times, more than. we thought.
Alright, we can definitely talk to Lee about that. Didn't get any court issues. Chief, do you have anything for the fire department?
No, just if, anybody that wants to be a firefighter, paramedic or volunteer, we're open.
Is it the exam or is it just hiring?
Yes,
Okay.
everything. I mean, the exam's coming up in January, but the registration for it's already passed.
Do you
So we're
have
hopeful.
do you have a link for that? The exam or?
We don't, it's through Schenectady County Civil Service. One of the issues you run into, and this was a case, for whatever reason, the state moved the exam up to January when it's usually like a March timeframe. And caught county civil service by surprise, insurance us by surprise, so we had to kind of shuffle quick to get in on the exam. And, so we advertise it out on through Facebook.
And when is it again? I'm sorry.
January 13th is the actual exam, but it's too late to register now.
So it's civil service.
Yeah, for the.
So
for the
I don't
career
think
staff.
we ever get notice. We never got notice for
Well, we
that.
don't hire it.
So we would, oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
You guys. That would be something we could.
I know. it'd be
At town
nice if
hall?
we knew.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Also, there's. Hard to find these days. You've kind of covered everything else.
The school district, the only thing we still are working on right now is the bus patrol. Tentatively end of February, beginning of March, we're all having individualized meetings. Have you had your? You gotta reach out. We'll reach out to them. To get everything up and running. I know the court was supposed to meet with them. I know the comptroller's office, we all have a different piece of this. We have had 2 virtual meetings with them on our end to go over the software, to understand how the rollout looks for the PD specific standpoint. I know the school district hadn't had direct contact in a little while. We reconnected them to make sure they understand, because they obviously need to give access to the buses to set these things up and install them. So we're hoping end of February, beginning of March timeframe. Personnel, we also continue to evaluate resumes for laterals and canvass the current civil service list. Unfortunately, we thought we were going to have at least 1, if not 2, other candidates that we were going to potentially look at, but due to some injuries and inability to pass physical agility tests, we canvassed all the way into the 85s, and there was not a single person, which is not, and that was off of the entire county list. Traditionally, we always give priority to the town list first. So there's 2 people in town that's going to have to list. So it's a non-mandatory list for this unit because it's a rule of 3. We are struggling with finding candidates on the civil service list to put into the academy. My hope is that I've kind of spoken with 3 of the candidates who I think have a genuine interest. It's really about getting ready for the physical agility test, and I've talked to them about running coaches, anything I can do to help them, and we're gonna keep in contact, because I'm hoping, they have said that they want to come here, that would be their choice, that would be their preference, so I'm hoping that we can get them, in shape, ready to go, and get them, in the July academy, so we shall see, to be determined. We are also, as I said previously, processing, doing the background of part-time animal control position. His name's, again, Bruce Kirschenroder. He lives in town. We've had a working relationship before because he's a sergeant in the auxiliary police department. He also is a Schenectady County SPCA humane law enforcement team that they recently set up. He works as a special patrol officer for the Schenectady County Sheriff's down at DMV sometimes. Bruce is going to be a good fit for us, we believe, in this position, and he has interest, which is the most important thing. So hopefully we're going to complete that background check and have him on for a resolution for this month. Also under personnel, we have the permanent appointment of Officer Dustin Spataro. It feels like yesterday that we hired Dustin, and I can't believe that it's already been 18 months. Dustin is doing an excellent job. It's a pleasure to work with. I have really good conversations with him when I see him. And we're excited to get him here permanently appointed to continue doing this great work for our police department in our town. Under other, I have still the amendment, Town of Muskegon Code regarding no parking on Plum Street where the sidewalks were built near Hillside Elementary School. I'm going to try to make contact with those residents probably tomorrow. I know one of them because they're in the room right now. And I know she's in support of it, but I'm going to try to make contact with the rest of the residents over there tomorrow for the public hearing coming up. Tuition reimbursement for Officer Breslin. The comptroller and I have been working on a process to make sure that we have a form and we all have this kind of buttoned up together so we all understand when someone applies, it's going to come to police and public safety, finance is going to talk about it, and then ultimately we'll do a resolution through town board for approval. There are two different agreements that I have to have Town Attorney Finn look at. There's the 2024 Susquehanna SPCA agreement, and there's the 2024 APF agreement. And maybe, Michelle, I can talk to Elena about at least for, I don't think we would do it for Susquehanna because that's so far away that I don't know that a family would drive all the way out there to go re-adopt their dog and circumnavigate things.
Well, this is open. Scotia's open now, so.
They are, but they're always full. So we have to have, I was saying to the supervisor earlier today and Councilman Brennan, essentially we're gonna have to do APF, have Susquehanna as a backup, and I'm still working with Montgomery County to do an agreement for regular strays and also dangerous dogs. So we may end up having 3 separate agreements, just to have backups to backups, because everybody's full. So. And that's gonna have to go on for resolution, the Susquehanna and the APF agreement. I don't have the Montgomery County agreement yet. We have the resolution to permanently appoint police officer, Dustin Spataro. Resolution to appoint the dog control officer, which is Bruce Kirschenroder. And that's what I have. Am I forgetting anything, Beth? Was there?
Well,
anything
the
else?
resolution, we will need a resolution
For
for the
Breslin,
tuition
also
reimbursement,
Breslin.
and if we're gonna actually do either or both of those, I had put the agreements, I believe, as tentative, just because I wasn't sure if we would have those ready. The dog agreements,
They're gonna have to be ready.
because those would both need resolutions.
Yep. I wrote those in there, yep. They're gonna have to be ready in one way or another because they expire at the end of this month. And they just got those to us. So I will also mention that the fees went up in those agreements. I wrote it down just so I can put it on the public record. APFs went up. It was like $10 across the board for each of the various things that they give us or that we utilize. Here. What's going on? Oh, it's in the rest. That's what I would do. It's in the first page. That's why. The letter that I had with it. I believe it went up to 165. I apologize because I usually very thorough about this. I highlighted what changed inside of the agreement. There it is. So they increased their past invoices from $30 to $50. So if we're late, that was an increase. And then they also increased the fee structure. Dogs are $75 a day, which is an increase of $10. Euthanasia is $140, which is an increase in $10. And group cremation is $130, which is also an increase in $10. And then Susquehanna sort of changed the way they did it. They increased from $250 per dog to $300 per altered dog, $500 per unaltered dog for their fees of accepting animals. Again, we are at the mercy of all of these agencies. We don't have any choices. So we're gonna have to make it work, which is why I'm hoping we can get an all encumbering agreement with Montgomery County and utilize them as our primary, because their retainer for dangerous dogs alone at the time that was quoted was $8,000. So hoping, because we did budget for that they will be our primary and we will maybe save some money on the fees because we're giving them a retainer. That's the goal. So we shall see. That is all I have. Does anyone else have anything? Once, twice, 3 times. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
All's in favor? With that, we'll close this meeting. Our next meeting will be in the new year, Happy New Year, January 4th, 2024 at 3:30.